every single penny made available. And again, I think the leader of the council can put this issue to bed tonight by just confirming that that is a principle of administration, that we will be drawing down every penny made available. I also take issue with the call for a local referendum. It does appear to be a local and expensive PR stunt. And a stunt we can go for. £200,000 is the officer's estimation of a local referendum. I'm sorry, but frontline services come before a local referendum on this issue.
Mr. Mayor, I understand that the tunnels in Wirral actually are no longer contributing to any loss of transport authority. And yet the costs have been put up. And the tunnels are used in the main by Wirral people, far the main users. Would it not help the people who you are concerned about if you could also persuade your Labour colleagues over the water to stop milking the funds from the Wirral residents for projects that may be spent over there? Can I just say, your amendment, being not social as me, is that we're told that if we don't hold elections one year, it saves us 100,000. Yeah, I'm wondering why then it would cost 200,000 to run a referendum. Doesn't seem to make sense to me.
Councillor Davis.
Yeah, I mean, clearly we will be making recommendations for Budget Cabinet next Monday, and that's the appropriate time to take budgetary decisions, not around notices of motions. But clearly there are a number of issues that we need to take into account here. Jeff has done the spin tonight on this by saying, oh, you shouldn't send money back to government. The reality, of course, is, and he knows this, that local authorities that accept the council tax freeze grant have that money permanently reduced from their base budget. So when that grant stops in 2 years' time, and it's due to stop in 15-16, you'll have to find even more cuts or alternative funding to fill the gap in your base budget. And therefore, it's no surprise, is it? It's no surprise that local authorities up and down the country, a number of them, are not accepting this council tax grant. Can I put your attention to Cheshire West and Chester that have recently agreed an increase of 1.9% in their council tax for next year, and the Tory cabinet member for finance resources, and I'll quote on the council tax freeze grants that the government's offered, which they rejected. This will be a permanent reduction in the council's funding base, which would need to be replaced by alternative funding or further savings in 2015-16, when the council tax freeze grant dropped out, said Councillor Ford. He believes the grant from Whitehall should be declined due to the short-term nature of the funding and its inconsistency with the council's intention to undertake 4-year financial planning and protect key services. The 1.9% increase, which Cheshire West and Chester Tories have gone for, would be, he says, significantly below the 2.7% general rate of cost inflation. So, what is the Tories' policy on the council tax freeze grant? We've got one Tory group here saying one thing, and the Tory group in the adjoining authority saying something else. We will have to weigh up very, very closely the arguments for and against accepting this, because what we need to be careful of is we don't create such an even bigger hole in 2 years' time that we have to make even more cuts and even more job losses. And that's the argument that we will weigh up. But we will present a very clear policy when we present our budget in a week's time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Quite frankly, Mr. Mayor, I'm disgusted at the language that was used by Councillor Green about myself and my colleagues to make this point earlier on. And I'm quite shocked and appalled that you've let this language take place and you've let Jeff Green talk about your colleagues in this chamber in that way. Mr. Mayor, this is
Adrian Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I hadn't intended to speak, but now I'm on my feet. I really think I must congratulate Councillor Rennie, not so much on his speech because she hasn't made it yet, but on her courage in seconding the motion before you. Leslie also reminds me of one of my favourite characters from great literature. You will not be surprised, of course, if I say I refer to Little Nell. Little Nell, you know, so loyally did everything she could to save her dear old grandfather. Dickens didn't actually tell us his name. I suspect it might have been Jeff. When he saw his business, the old curiosity shop crumbling around him because he was rather let down by enemies in his own hearth. Councillor Green suggests, Mr. Mayor, that spending £200,000 on a referendum would be money well spent. Had his administration not by, and I choose my words carefully, by design or incompetence, left £17 million of scorched earth, he would perhaps not have to stake the barrel by trying to link the Nazi name with our political party. If he knew, and as a leader of a party, he ought to know anything at all about the history of the Nazi party, he would perhaps be surprised to learn of the friendship that the Ribbentrop and Flick and Mussolini had with political grandees in this country who was certainly nothing to do with the Labour Party. And those friendships were taking place at a time when the Labour Party, the Independent Labour Party, the trade unions were orchestrating international brigade volunteers, overwhelmingly from among British socialists, to go and lay their life down against fascism in Spain. Our own Gordon Patterson, someone has mentioned his name, who graced this chamber until he died a few years ago, was among them. I think, Mr. Mayor, that Councillor Green this evening descended to new depths, and he should have the courage and the decency to stand up and apologise tonight now.
You mentioned Councillor Rennie, so I think we'll have to go to second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Councillor Adrian Jones, for that very warm comparison, really. But as I don't think I've ever been called Little Nell before, I was really expecting one of the witches or something out of one of the Shakespeare plays, which clearly you're in a far better mood than I am this evening. Mr. Mayor, can I congratulate as well Councillor Gregson and Councillor Hodgkin on their maiden speeches. Thank you for that, and I'm sure you'll be contributing many more times to come. Mr. Mayor, a former Prime Minister of this country once said that one of the troubles with socialism is that you actually end up running out of people's money, and I'm sure those more learned people on the opposite benches will know exactly who I'm talking about, particularly Councillor Harry Smith, who clearly was never a fan. But Mr. Mayor, over the decades when Labour were fixing council budgets in this council, and it certainly was for well over a decade, council tax actually rose by way over 70%. And year on year, residents were expected to pay more and yet to receive less. So really nothing has changed. We've all considered on this side of the benches that every penny that we take out of the pockets of our local residents should always be spent effectively and efficiently. And really the Labour Party, all they seem to do, and what they seem to be trying to do on this occasion, is going to use the local residents as nothing more than a cash cow. We all accept, Mr. Mayor, that local councils and indeed the whole of the country are facing huge financial challenges, and we take on board that. However, it's quite tiresome to keep opening the Wirral Globe to hear figures of £100 million cuts that we have to make being bandied around by the leader of the council and officers as well of this council, because clearly those figures are already in some sort of discrepancy. It depends who you talk to and who you listen to. That figure seems to vary. Mr. Mayor, many of Wirral's financial problems are a direct link to years of Labour-controlled councils and much more a Labour government, Mr Mayor. Mr Mayor, it's strange that certain facts have actually gone from the minds of the local Labour Party, and you've let those things slip. Because, for instance, so instead of telling people a one-sided story about local residents in the press, why don't you just ask them whether or not you think that it's right that you should look a gift horse in the mouth? You really should be looking to accept the government's council tax freeze and to allow the people of Wirral, who we all are supposed to be here, the people of Wirral who should benefit from that. And if you're actually determined to tax those local people, then why not ask them for their opinion via a referendum? Mr Mayor, it's quite strange really. I suggest Mr Mayor, it is strange, and I think a colleague, Mr Mayor, earlier on referred to the fact, and I think it was Councillor Jeff Green, who actually said what happened when David Cameron came into government. He was actually told that the cupboard was bare, there was no money left. Because not only had Gordon Brown sold the family silver, but he'd also got rid of all the cash reserves and all the gold reserves of this country. Mr Mayor, at a previous meeting of this council, I was quite horrified to hear a Labour member allude to the fact that really why did they have to bother listening to any of the opposition parties, because they had the numbers and they could do what they wish. If that is the attitude that prevails amongst this administration, then I am really absolutely worried for the future of this council. We have always promised to work together to try and solve the Mr Mayor, this party here, and I'm sure the Liberal Democrats as well, have always pledged to work together to solve the issues that are ahead of this council. But clearly, Mr Mayor, it seems now that opposition parties are being treated like second-class citizens. We will not stand by and let that happen, and we will tell the people of Wirral just what your game is, Mr Mayor. Mr Mayor, it's a cynical ploy to turn down government money that could help the people of local residents. And if there is anything in this council chamber tonight to take off from, perhaps it's the beginning words of Councillor Hackett in his amendment, where he says that you haven't made a decision yet. Well, perhaps we can encourage you here tonight to make that decision and to make sure that you take the government's council tax.
We'll have to ask you, listen, before that's what going over Enfield tonight, shouting to the referee. Listen, just let Councillor Rennie finish off what she's got to say. Oh, she has finished it. Very good. Okay, Councillor, stay on.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Can I add my congratulations to Councillors Gregson and Hodgson on their maiden speeches, and they were very, very inspiring. Well, Mr Mayor, it's no surprise to anyone in this room that the Tories are once again resorting to headline-grabbing gesture politics instead of behaving responsibly by choosing measured, forward-looking policies that will be better for the borough in the long term. What they don't say in their motion is that the coalition government's bribe to freeze council tax, and let's be honest, that's what it is, a bribe, will result in an increased budget deficit in future years. It is a very tempting offer from the Tory Lib Dem government, and one that council administrations across the country of all political persuasions are grappling with, even if it is a blatant political gesture. I think it must be like buying something on HP, live now, pay later. However, it is worth noting that Tory-run Cheshire West and Chester, as has already been mentioned tonight, have already decided to reject its own government's recommendation because they know it's just storing up trouble for future budgets. So why don't you emulate your Cheshire colleagues? Be honest and tell the whole truth to the electorate. Who knows, you might get to like it. Seriously though, any opportunity to keep council tax down must be genuinely considered against the black hole in the budget. And I know that our leadership will honestly be considering the merits of the coalition government offer when making final decisions about the budget for this year. I wish them the best of luck. Councillors, I urge you to reject this motion and vote for our amendment.
Gilchrist.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I'm happy to accept what we've been told at the moment that no decision's been made. Secondly, there's a lot of confusion between Cheshire West and Cheshire East, so I'll try and solve that one. Cheshire East Conservative has said they'll take the money to have a freeze. Of course, they get £700 less in spending power than Cheshire West, which is a bit more deprivation than Cheshire East. Cheshire West is saying they will have a council tax rise because of their financial circumstances. What I think most of us are worried about is being rolled on, shouted at, cajoled or prodded by Mr Pickles. Mr Pickles is complaining that councils aren't taking the money. And the last figures I saw, something like 115 of 351 has said they were having a freeze, but the others hadn't yet decided. So it's a matter of looking at our own local circumstances. I remember reading a few weeks ago when Oxfordshire was complaining about being rolled on by some Tories in London who said, well, hold on, you've got the money from car parking, you've got the money from big business, you've got industry and things we haven't got in our rural areas, and we've got problems. So each council makes a decision based on its circumstances, and that's what I'm trusting the Labour group will make a careful, thoughtful assessment. Finally, the National Audit Office was mentioned several times in the last debate, and I have read the report, and I'm particularly interested in paragraph 13, which I'll happily discuss with the Labour leadership afterwards, because I think the one ground we can have is looking at the cumulative impact of all these things and making representations on that basis. And I think that's a useful way forward, rather than a bit of recrimination you had earlier. Finally, thanks to those new members who have spoken tonight for their points of view. And a point to Jeff, I'm sorry Jeff, it would have been better not to dig the hole in the first place.
Councillor, do you wish to exercise your right to reply?
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple of things. First of all, to point out to the movers of the Lib Dem amendment, Mark Johnson and Phil Gilchrist, the fact that further on in the we have a Labour amendment that says, item 3, council notes that a move to all-out elections every 4 years will result in a saving to the authority of 100,000. So I'm not altogether sure, as Councillor Hale pointed out, well, they got this figure of 200,000 to have a referendum from. I'm sure the officers weren't trying to really make a referendum sound even worse, but as far as they're concerned, than it is. So there seems to be a rather deep inconsistency here. The other thing that I'd point out is Anne McLachlan actually congratulates her on Esmond, because she did actually say, didn't she? The actual sum total of the savings that are down to government cuts, she said, cuts it around, were 17 million in all this. She actually said that in her speech. So at least it seems that Councillor McLachlan can tell the truth. And also, just to be absolutely clear, because we're talking about the head of the Audit Commission, yes, I've spent a degree of time speaking to him too about some of those issues. And let's be absolutely clear in terms of the difference between how much of it is government grant that's been reduced and how much are issues of the council's own making. And one of those areas of its own making that I would repeat, and I've said consistently, is when the budgets were put together, we actually had a strategic change programme. And the strategic change programme identified from Labour's own AOB budget those savings that need to be made over the next year by the strategic change programme. Who was it that chose to abolish the strategic change programme? Whose role it was to make those savings? It was the Labour Party's administration. I asked the previous year how many meetings of that had taken place, and one meeting had taken place. So before we start casting aspersions around the place, I think the Labour Party should actually look to itself. And finally, the point that was made about the council tax discount. I would much rather, as you know, cut the council tax. But
only be the Labour Party. It can only be the Labour Party that calls letting people have more of their own money in their pocket as a bribe. The money belongs to them in the first place. How is this a bribe to allow people to spend their own money, Mr. Mayor? It's typical. It is typical of the Labour Party to say, oh, this is all dreadful. We'll tell you how to spend your money. Don't you worry about it. As Councillor Rennie pointed out, the problem with Labour governments is they end up running out of other people's money. And then what we have here, the government's not giving us any money at all, is it dreadful, give us more money. The government gives more money, and you're talking about giving it back. I mean, that's a bribe. It's a dirty bribe by the government to keep people's council taxes low. What planet are you on? And as far as I'm concerned, we also heard,
Now listen, we're going to, I'm sorry, Catherine, listen, why didn't you say it? I must ask you to behave yourselves. If you don't behave yourselves, I'll order you all out of the chamber and let him finish on his own. Good idea. Councillor Green, over to you.
Thank you.
Councillor Green.
And again, we see the Labour Party actually say that somehow they know better how to spend the public's money than the public themselves. And the final insult we heard in terms of this speech was somehow we heard how this Labour administration was going to operate as far as the Labour principles about caring for the vulnerable. Well, in Wirral, what a record the Labour administration have got about caring for the vulnerable. I saw Martin Morton sitting up in the gallery, and that's what went on. The worst local authority in adult social care in the country. That was the Labour Party's. That was the Labour Party legacy. That was the Labour Party. So don't come here lecturing people about what Labour principles are and are not, because we know it's poor delivery, it's like a car, and it's wasting the public's money.
Well, okay, thank you. We're now going to vote on Councillor Mark Johnson's amendment. Yes.
Mr. Mayor, can I propose that the Lib Dem amendment is as a friendly amendment to ours, please?
Can you say that again? Can you propose what?
Can I propose that the Lib Dem amendment is as a friendly amendment to ours?
Wouldn't that be better coming from a Liberal delegate?
Can I be talking about Mr. Mayor?
You make both. You agree with it? Oh, well, there you go. So, you've not been colluding with each other. No, I think you're happy to add your amendment as a friendly amendment to theirs. Okay. Right. So we vote first on the amendment as collaborated, the two amendments as put together. Those in favour of it. Those against. The amendment is carried by 42 to 20. Now, just let me check up with my legal advisor. So we actually do have to vote on the main amendment as one motion as amended. Those in favour of the motion as amended. 42. Those against. Number 20, so that amendment as grouped together